Hello, my most amazing artists. Today we're going to be creating an optical illusion, or op art. I'm going to write my name and class code in the back of my paper and then flip it on over. I'm going to be using a ruler, a pencil, markers, and a circle tracer. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a circle tracer. That could be anything. It could be the lid, it could be a bowl if you don't have a lid, anything that you have. In this case, I have a circle lid. Then I'm going to grab my pencil first. I'm going to hold down that circle. It could be anywhere on my paper, but I think it's going to look best if I put it in the middle of the paper. Hold it down with one hand as I trace around it with the other lightly with my pencil. Then I'm going to get out my ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you could use anything with a straight edge that could make a line. I'm going to trace the same width of my ruler across my paper, making horizontal lines. But when I get to the circle, I'm going to jump over. So that means I don't trace that line through the circle. I'm going to start the line, but then jump over and then finish it on the other side. Almost like the circle is going on top of the lines and the lines are just hidden behind it. I'm going to keep going with the same width until I get to the very top. So I'm starting and then I'm going to do it on the other side. So I'm doing the same thing where I just trace my ruler. I'm not actually making any measurements. I'm just actually tracing the width of the ruler here. If you wanted to make measurements, you could, but I'm going with the easiest way to do it, and that's just tracing the ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you could do this with a paper, you could do it with a book, anything. Now I'm going to make vertical lines doing the same thing, skipping over that circle, making sure that I'm only making the lines through it. Now I'm holding my ruler with my hand kind of spread out, not just with one finger, or it would have gone and slid under my hand and made those lines not straight or vertical. I am going to make one line that's straight in the middle of my circle. Then I'm going to make lines that bend. I'm going to make curvy lines on the rest. So I'm going vertical and connecting the lines that I made with my ruler through my circle. But this time I'm going to make horizontal lines that also curve. Now this is going to make it look like it's popping out. I'm connecting those lines but with a curve. So I'm going to make the top two going curving up like a rainbow, and then the bottom one arching down like a smile. So make sure that you make your lines arched or curved there on the circle. That's going to be the most important part. Then I'm going to make it a checkerboard. I'm going to check every other square on my composition. I'm going to make sure I even check through my sphere there in the middle. A sphere is a 3D circle. That's what I'm making this look like. It's very important that you check every other one. This is going to help me plan it out so that when I use my marker, I don't accidentally make a mistake and color the wrong one or mess up the pattern. A checkerboard pattern is an A-B pattern. Every A is a color and every B is a color. So I'm going back and forth between, it could be black and white, it could be purple and white, it could be black and green, it could be whatever. It doesn't even have to be two colors. I'm just going to keep the white of the paper and do one color with purple. It is totally up to you what color you do, but I would just suggest doing white and a color to start with. So any ones that I put a pencil mark in, I'm going to outline the shape and then color it in with my marker. It's a good idea to outline it first because that way I can just color it in and don't have to worry about accidentally coloring outside of the lines. If I get a little bit of marker on my table, it's okay. These are washable markers. I just want to make sure that I'm absolutely getting that shape of the square every time. That way I don't accidentally color into the square next to it and mess up that checkerboard pattern. Also notice I'm using the side of my marker. When I color with the side of my marker, it's called the chisel tip, and that's going to make my lines thick but also very neat. I'm not making lines that are wiggly because the side of my marker is helping me make them straight lines. That way, if I use the top of the marker, it could not only press down and ruin the top of it or the tip of it, but it also would take forever to color. So I hold my marker on its side as I color one direction. It's important to try to color every square the same direction to kind of give it the optical illusion. Now I know this is super sped up, but it's important that when you get to your sphere, you outline the shape of the curvy lines. That's going to make it look like it's popping out of the page. So make sure that when you get to the sphere that you still color in the checkerboard pattern, even though they're going to be distorted. That shape won't be a square exactly anymore. When I'm all done coloring in my checkerboard pattern, including the sphere, then I can kind of trace over that first circle that I drew with my pencil. I'm going to lightly shade in my circle around the edges. That's going to give it a shadow that makes it look like it's really popping out and make it a three-dimensional looking sphere. So I'm going to kind of lightly draw on the sides of it with my pencil, kind of shaking my pencil back and forth to make it a shade. Then I'm going to use my finger to blend that graphite from the pencil and make it more of a shaded area. Instead of just having my pencil lines, it's going to look more realistic when I smear it with my finger. Then I'm going to clean up with an art wipe in case I got any marker on my table, which I did, and then make sure I always sign my work when I'm all finished. I want to make sure that every area was colored in. If I had any areas that need to be fixed, I could do that after, go back and check that that pattern was there, add the shadow, and then I'm good to go. I created an awesome optical illusion. Have fun, artists!